More of the Daily Wrap now from the Wall Street Journal. Michael Toscano sitting in for Michael Kastner. And Reuters is now reporting that, this is not good news, Iran may be carrying out preparations to expand nuclear activity deep inside a mountain, and this is despite Western pressure to curb the uranium enrichment drive. We're talking about the Fordo underground site, which last month started refining uranium there, and the problem is that the way that they do it there cuts the time it would need for any nuclear weapon to be developed. Now, this is causing all sorts of consternation, as you might imagine. Joining us now to figure out where we stand with this is Chris DeVito, Director of Outreach for Iran 180. This is a grassroots coalition demanding that Iran drop pursuing nuclear weapons. So, Chris, are we now edging ever closer to military action?
Well, I don't know if this instance in and of itself makes military action more likely or not, but it does signal the fact that Iran is, continuing its efforts unabated. And I think that the more disturbing development this week, even on top of this, is the refusal to allow IAEA inspectors into another facility, the Parchin facility, which the IAEA has identified in the past as the potential location of specifically weapon design programs for Iran's nuclear efforts.
Does that worry you because Iran wouldn't let them go there, or because and that means something, or is it because they actually couldn't see what they wanted to see?
Well, I think it does in both regards. It seems to indicate that it's less likely that Iran is going to be able to or willing to participate in the diplomatic process being demanded by the international community and the inspections process that's being demanded by the international community. And it's worrying because it, means that we don't have the full information that we are seeking in terms of the actual nature of what the Iranian regime is doing in terms of its nuclear program. And I think that, this type of behavior certainly indicates that, what they are doing is not for peaceful purposes, as they claim.
We keep hearing from a lot of government officials in our government and others that Iran is not really necessarily deciding that they're going to weaponize their enrichment. So do you agree with that?
Well, I think that that's not my place really to speculate on that issue. I do think that the deliberate obscurity that they're keeping their program in, leaves the question wide open. And I think that in this type of circumstance, it's always wise to follow the maxim put forth by Ronald Reagan that it's trust but verify. And in the absence of a verification process, I think there's very little reason to trust the intent of the Iranian regime in this matter.
Chris DeVito, Director of Outreach for Iran 180, grassroots coalition demanding that Iran drop pursuing nuclear weapons, is helping us understand what's happening now as reports are coming out that Iran is expanding nuclear activity deep inside a mountain. And when I say deep inside, I mean deep inside. This is about 265 feet below the surface. It's hard rock and soil. And what concerns the people looking into this is that this allows Iran better protection against an Israeli or a U.S. military strike than some of the other places. So what can we do about this?
Well, I think that at this point, the international efforts in terms of a very robust sanctions regime that's been imposed by both the United States and our allies in Europe is a crucial element to getting the Iranians to reconsider the nature of their program and to allow the type of robust inspections that are being demanded by the international community. These sanctions are really just starting to hit, and they're being placed on top of already very harsh sanctions that have been put in place in the past. I think that, it's undetermined at this point whether these sanctions are going to have the effect that we want. But in the end, they're our best chance at a non-military end to the current confrontation.
Folks can get more information on the activities of Iran 180 by going to Iran180.org. And we thank Chris DeVito, Director of Outreach for Iran 180, for joining us on the Daily Wrap.
Thank you very much, Michael.